Joan was quizzical, studied metaphysical science in the home. Late nights all alone with...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is J.R. White. It's been about 30 years since Jimmy Carter was our president. Jimmy Carter was born on October 1st, 1924, and he was in office since January 20th, 1977 to 1981. People have different opinions on how Jimmy Carter's presidency was. The documentary of today will be about Jimmy Carter, concentrating on the following three aspects: economical, social, and political.
Jimmy Carter was known for globally announcing human rights concerns. He openly criticized the Soviets for not following the Helsinki Accords, which created more tension during the Cold War. He also withheld financial support from countries which didn't give its citizens their deserved human rights. His concerns for minorities like these was what led Carter to get elected as the president. The fact that 97% of the votes were by Black Americans is clear evidence of this. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union signed a treaty, SALT-II. This treaty stated parameters for the amount of weapons each country can keep handy. This reflected both their fears for each other, because by having control of how much weapon each country has, they needed not to be afraid of sudden attacks. The Vietnam War was an extension of the Cold War. Just like the Korean War, as much as it was a battle between the two sections of Vietnam, since the United States and the Soviet Union backed them, it was also a battle between capitalism and communism. Though the war ended with the victory of the United States, Jimmy Carter's decision to aid the Vietnam War plummeted his popularity because many lives of American soldiers were taken from the war.
Here is Mr. Kim, who was a child when Jimmy Carter was president. So, Mr. Kim, what were events that were happening during Jimmy Carter's presidency, and how were people reacting towards those events?
During the era in which Jimmy Carter was president, I think the Cold War was happening. Probably the U.S. and Soviet Union had military conflict in silence, and they were fighting in silence, no gunfighting or something, but competition between each other. And during Jimmy Carter's presidency, people were frustrated about communism and the spies that probably can be in their country, and then probably treating them because they are in unsafe situation. And that's how I felt when I was young, and people were like that.
Thank you very much. Now here is a clip that was taken by our show when Jimmy Carter was president. This clip will help us understand the economic situation and condition of when Jimmy Carter was president.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a nice spring weather today, but I see something weird right now. The school bus is parked on the middle of the street, middle of the road. Let me go and check what's going on right now. Hey, what's going on?
The bus ran out of gasoline, so we had to push the bus to school today, because there aren't any gasoline stands nearby. We might not be able to go to school today. And I don't think I can go to school ever, because my dad can't pay my tuition anymore because he lost his job yesterday, because the unemployment rate is so high these days. Jimmy Carter's presidency was not very good. He had to be president when America was going through international stagflation.
And what does stagflation mean?
Stagflation is an economic condition that occurs when a country's inflation rate and unemployment rate is high. This means that the rate of the general prices of goods and services were rising, but at the same time, the purchasing power was falling. America was facing many economic problems when Jimmy Carter was president. Carter lost his popularity and was defeated in his re-election in the 1980 election because people thought he didn't deal with these economic problems that well. The inflation rate in America in 1973 was 6.2, and the unemployment rate was 4.8. The inflation rate once went down in 1976, but it kept on rising since 1977, the year Jimmy Carter became president. On Jimmy Carter's last year of presidency, the inflation rate was 13.5, and the unemployment rate was 7.0. The big reasons for this stagflation were the oil crisis that started in 1973 and the energy crisis in 1979. The period in which these two crises occurred is called the 1970s energy crisis.
What did Jimmy Carter do to solve the problems?
Well, as a solution for this energy crisis, Jimmy Carter organized a national energy policy. He suggested people to save more energy to protect the environment through conservation. Another idea included in this national energy policy was to use alternative sources of energy, such as nuclear power. However, people disagreed to this idea because they thought that nuclear power was extremely dangerous after the meltdown of the core reactor at 3 Mile Island, Pennsylvania in March 1979. He also tried to put tax on oil. The whole nation was concerned by how Carter dealt with all these economical problems.